for A through. As I always say, it's for information only. If there's anything anyone would like to highlight there. Okay, and we'll move into our work session. The first item will be EMS service fees. Chief Whiteley, Chief Robinson, and Robin Barber with the billing consultant from MTS Consulting will make a presentation at this time. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, City Manager. I guess basically what I need to do is give a synopsis, a little bit of what we've done with emergency medical services over the last little bit. Approximately 15 months ago, the department, the city, contracted with MTS Consulting. Basically, that's an EMS liaison for our billing. It's to make sure that it's efficient, it's effective, that it's good for the customer, and it's good for our revenue as far as getting these processes done much more quickly. In November, this past November 2024, we transitioned from AMB EMS billing to MCA billing. And we think that's going to have a positive net gain as well. And then tonight, we're going to introduce Mr. Barber, who is in charge of MTS Consulting. He's the owner. He'll propose some rate changes as far as EMS billing. And one other thing that happened is some legislation. In January of 2025, we had House Bill 152 that deals with Medicaid and Medicare. It did pass the House, I believe, but it's hung up in the Senate. But Medicaid, nonetheless, has said they will do it. So that's another positive thing. And at the end of it, as you may recall, in July of last year, we were all very excited that we hit 1.6 million in EMS revenue sharing. I think our goal was 1.4 at that time. As of this morning, we're $11,000 from 1.4 million. We have 3 months to go, so we are going to surpass 1.6 million.
Right.
And it's nothing but a positive trajectory. With the support of the commission, the operational deployment model that we have begun, and continue to uplift and try to keep it going the same way that's going and improving. So with that said, Mr. Barber.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Barber. We appreciate it.
Thank you all very much for having me.
Appreciate it.
They put me in charge of this, so if I mess it up, it's Chief Robinson's fault.
Oh,
As Chief said, I'm Robin Barber. I own a small consulting business that comes from 35 years in emergency services. I retired out in 2020 from Montgomery County Fire and EMS. Started doing ambulance billing about 1996. So in the last century, I was doing EMS billing. That caused me to create my company in 2006. And I've worked on all different levels, multiple systems, advanced life support, basic, critical care, ground, air, billing companies, software development, stuff like that. So I've been all around the EMS systems. So as Chief said, I came in October of 23. The first thing we had to do is see where we were, where we've been, and where we wanted to go. We streamlined the processes. Fire and EMS actually, they do a very good job on quality improvement, quality assurance, checking the documentation. But like most places, Winchester was a little passive in their billing practices, meaning they would make the run, get the insurance information they could get, and then the billing company would take care of the rest of it. I come out of systems that if we didn't have run fee money, we didn't have people and trucks. We were highly dependent on run fee money. So I had to get a system a long time ago, and I've kept it going. We started a consumable reimbursement billings. So what that's for is all the stuff that is on the patient when we leave them, or the stuff that we throw away, such as gloves, EKG pads, all that. You did a run 3 or 4 months ago. We were looking, and Medicaid was paid $178 for the run, and it was in Lexington. You guys used $187 worth of supplies. So before we count the truck, the people, the buildings, or anything, we lost $9 just on the stuff that was left on the patient. So we started reimbursement on that to try to recoup some of that. As Chief mentioned, we brought in medical claims assistance, new billing company. We're looking to maximize our reimbursement. We're not going out and beating people up and sending Guido to get money and stuff like that. So we want to maximize the reimbursement that the insurances allow. And we want to do it at a slow and steady pace. So what we do on the fee-for-service rates, I take a look at them normally yearly. In conjunction with medical claims assistance, we talk about where we think we need to be and the industry is going. We want to make small adjustments every year or two, make an adjustment instead of waiting 8, 10 years to make an adjustment. And I believe the best we could find out, you all have updated your rates about 4 to 5 years. Okay, so what you charge? And we can go down a lot of rabbit holes when we start talking about ambulance billing. But to keep us on track, we got about six charges that are base rates. So advanced life support, that would be a paramedic level service. Non-emergency and emergency. Basic life support, which is EMT level service, emergency and non-emergency. Advanced life support level 2, that's an ALS run with a lot of skills done. So they had to do a lot of work, really critical patient. Specialty care transport comes into play when you're going from facility to facility. So like Clark Regional UK, Fire and EMS has critical care paramedics, so they're above the scope of a regular paramedic. So we can charge some of those. We go for mileage, oxygen, and consumables. So here's our current rates. And again, I think we look back and we think these were set about 4 to 5 years ago. ALS on non-emergency $725, emergency is $875. BLS non-emergency $520 with emergency at $650. 1,000 on ALS level 2, $1175 specialty care, $14 a mile, $10 for oxygen, and the consumables are just reimbursable costs. So we set that every 6 months or so. Taking a look at the rates. This is what myself and the medical claims assistants come up as a proposal to you folks, brought it to chief, and then he wanted me to come down and speak with you. So the ALS non-emergency, we go to 900, emergency 950, BLS non-emergency 700, emergency 750, ALS level 2 1100, specialty care 1200, ground mileage to 17, and oxygen still at $10. And of course, the consumables then cost. So there's really a disparity between your non-emergencies and your emergencies on both ALS and on BLS. So that's the ones that needed the most adjustment in mind. So this is broken out what we got on current, proposed, and change. Of course, the non-emergency rates is 175 and 180 on ALS and BLS. The increase, that's a little much. You were really low on those two, really low. And there's the other ones, how they play out. So we always want to compare services. Took a look at 6 departments that was like Winchester Fire and EMS, and the fact that their transport model, the type of runs they do and stuff. Comparison is really difficult though, because different entities, different locations have different needs and set different rates. So this is a good way to just take a look at a few of them. So if you look, the average is in blue and Winchester Fire and EMS is in green. So we're just a little bit low, a little bit below the average right now in all the categories. SCT, specialty care transport, we had a couple of them that didn't actually do those SCT runs, so we couldn't get a good number on those for comparison. Now, if we were to go with the proposed rates, then again, the average is in blue and Winchester Fire and EMS is in green. So we're just a little bit above the average of what's being charged out there right now. Some of these folks have set their rates recently. One of the directors I talked to didn't even know what his rates was. So there's a big, I don't know how long it's been since they had done rates. And everything since 2020 has went up, what, 30% across the board for most of our living. So if we make a change, we want to see how it impacts. On the customer, it will be minimal impact. There will be no change in the Medicare and Medicaid, what the customer would have to pay. And that's 72% of your population, 72% of the runs, excuse me, that we make is Medicare or Medicaid. Be a slight change to commercial and auto, and a little bit in change to private pay. Financial impact, of course, Chief wanted to know how much more this will bring in. It's really hard to tell exact amount that it would bring in. It would be hard to even go back and audit the fact, but it will have a slight financial impact. The big thing is to get us in line. As Chief mentioned, House Bill 152 was a Medicaid bill that was brought forward. House Bill 245 was a commercial insurance bill that was brought forward. And that would have gotten rid of out-of-network findings for some of our customers. You've got people here in Clark County that will get an ambulance bill because their insurance says they're out-of-network. Well, you're the ambulance service, for the county. I don't see how they do that, but they'll do anything to get out of paying the bill. So that's the rates on the fee schedule as I proposed. Copy of that is in your packet, and I've got additional copies back there if we need them. So do you have any questions that I can help you with on this or anything EMS done?
I had one quick question on the customer financial impact.
Mhm.
You did say 72% of our runs are either Medicare or Medicaid,
Yes, ma'am.
72%.
Yes, and with Medicare, Medicaid, they pay you what they wanna pay. So if you're billing $1,000 run, let's just use that as an example. Medicare cuts it back to $300, $400. Medicaid cuts it back to $100, plus $4 a month. So there's nothing you can do about that. But this will get us in line, especially if we get legislation next year, which we're gonna push for, to stop these commercial insurances of saying people are out of network and such as that. So we would have to give them our rates. You know, if they went through this session, we would have to be submitting our rates right now for July 1 start date. I'm getting that correct.
When was the last time that Medicare updated the rates? It's been.
Medicare updates every year, so we get a little bit of cost of living adjustment is what they call it. And we've been getting that for the past several years. Medicaid, honestly, I don't remember the last time we got a raise in Medicaid, and I've been doing it since '96. EMS billing is really difficult. There's a lot of players in the game, a lot of rules in the game. It's not like, you know, if you send somebody a water bill and they don't pay you, you cut the water off. You know, we can't make them go back and have the heart attack if they don't pay us. So we need to, we really want to maximize what we can get through the insurances.
Why would we not want to do this?
I don't know any reason why you wouldn't. It's not a big adjustment. It's not really going to affect a lot of customers. That's something I'm weary of and want to think about when we do something. And I'll look at it again next year, and you may not see me for 3-4 years. We may not want to do a rate increase for a while, but just want to get it up in line so we can start working on it every year.
And the big point we need to make, I go back to that 72% of runs again to the public, that basically most of everything is gonna be covered by Medicare and Medicaid.
Exactly.
72% of the runs.
Exactly. 72% of your payers or customers are Medicaid or Medicare recipients.
Can you clarify what the specialty care transport is? Maybe I'm just getting that confused. And
Okay.
there was no comparison, excuse me for interrupting, with the other 6 that you said you looked at, so I was just kind of wondering.
Okay, so a couple of those services did not provide specialty care transport. Winchester Fire EMS has critical care paramedics, so that's above the level of a regular paramedic. And that way you can charge on inter-facility. So something going from Park Regional over to UK, we'll say with a balloon pump or whatever the protocol says, we can charge a higher rate. And Medicare is the big payer on that, that reimburses you the higher rate, especially. But there was a couple that did not, they don't do specialty care, they want to do care.
Thank you.
So that shows the quality of care we give.
Exactly. I worked a lot of services, and this is, these gentlemen here are really progressive, really getting out on the cutting edge and doing what needs to be done to take care of the customer. I'm just here to try to get them some more money to do that. Any other questions?
Anything, Commissioner? Bruce, let us direct you, if we would, to put this on our next agenda.
I believe, if we could probably go ahead and do a vote. It was at we talked
I
about
don't
that.
think we've
George.
ever done an order
Are we
for
okay to
these.
vote
I think you all can go ahead and vote.
Right.
If you want to raise the
These
rates.
aren't ordained like the water rate.
No.
And yes, I'll make the motion, and second by Commissioner Strode. All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Bowman.
Thank you all for your time.
Appreciate your explanation. That's good, some good
Alright.
stuff to know.
If you have any questions on the EMS billing, catch me outside.
Okay.
I'm glad to help.
Are you gonna run? Thank you so much.
If you have any questions, keep that in your number.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's go to item B, 5B, city-owned property RFP proposal. Mr. Mike Flynn, come on down.
Right.
won't be as flashy as the last two years.
How do you say?
Well, thank you for, allowing me to present tonight, to get started. We're talking about city-owned property here, and we did a request for proposal. Want to back up and tell you where we've been and where we're at today. August to September, that time frame of 2024, we issued a request for proposal for entities and business owners to provide proposals to us in order that we could look at for the city-owned property that we have. Currently, the city owns about 23 properties that are in some form or fashion. We maintain them, and whether it be mowing, cleaning up, those type of things. We require these through tax liens and other things. They've been condemned, and a variety of different avenues by which we've ended up acquiring these properties, and we've been trying to figure out how to ultimately dispose of these properties in the right manner. When I say dispose of these properties, what we want to do is get these properties back on the tax rolls. We want them to generate revenue for the city, as well as meet one of the goals that is in our strategic plan. And that goal that's in the strategic plan is affordable housing, and taking some of these dilapidated areas and improving them, and moving people to home ownership. That's one of the things that we've talked about in this. So in early 2025, we abandoned the RFP approach that we had, and there were several reasons that we abandoned that, but we had started with some property up on Mutual Avenue, and there's 3 or 4 lots up there on that corner of Mutual and Wynn that was through there. And we kind of, and I say I'll say that I was probably the lead in that. We extended the scope of what was in it for the one submitter on that proposal, and what they did is we looked at several other properties out in the community, and I think we went off of the original scope of work, which would have not been a good thing for us to do in awarding something to a prospective bidder in that regard. So we abandoned that. We took a step back and looked, and we said, how do we want to move forward with this? So currently, I think Bruce will give you a copy of the presentation, but we put together a solicitation for bids, and that solicitation for bids will inquire of folks to provide information to us on purchase of these various city-owned properties. And one of the things that we put in there, we want them to be a 501c3 entity to be able to submit. And what that does is that gives us, I think, the leverage to say that these folks are going to be able to provide a mechanism to provide low-income or wage-based housing, and hopefully move people into home ownership while making progress in providing that. And as I mentioned before, that was one of our #1 goals in our strategic plan. So when they submit these bids, we've got a bid sheet that's prepared, and I'll move into some of this. As you can see here on Almond Court, we've got 4 different properties that are part of this one area. And you'll go back there too, can't you? But this would make a nice, you can take these, and I think working with planning and zoning, you'd be able to take these and make these lots something really nice. Ultimately, I don't know what's going to be on there, and I think we could all come up with a variety of different things to be on these properties. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is not maintain these, discontinue putting money into these properties, and make them be a revenue stream for us moving forward in the future. So you've got 4 here, and in this solicitation, I think they could bid on one or all of the properties. I think that they would bid on all of the properties in that prospective area. You move on, you've got some others here, 45 and 47 Evans Street. You can see there that those are two properties that are contiguous, one to another. That will make a lot there, hopefully. Maybe it's just gonna be one house on this. I don't know. But again, I think we could work with planning and zoning, doing these type of things. And the reason we're bringing this to you as a commission tonight is to make sure that we fleshed out anything that needs to be fleshed out, and that we're going in the direction that the commission wants us to go in. Another area, these are the ones I mentioned on Mutual Avenue and Wynn Avenue, 4 lots there, a nice area. The original request for proposal had some apartment complexes, you know, that were gonna be built there, and I say apartment, more of a duplex type setting, with 3 to 4 duplexes set there. But the problem is that we had no control over that, and then ultimately, it wasn't gonna be a home ownership type deal, and that's what we want. We wanna see folks be able to, because if you look at any of the entities, that are out there, when you look at Foothills and you look at Habitat and those, they provide mechanisms by which people can get a loan and do something and move themselves into that, establish their credit, do those type of things. And that's what we want to do, for the folks in our community. Another.
Back up just one second.
Yes, ma'am.
please. On Mutual, we have 4 properties, and I think there's only 3 on here. Are we missing something?
Well, you've got 3 on there, but you've got 204 Wynn Avenue. You might have it labeled as a Wynn Avenue property.
Okay,
That's what.
okay, there's the miss, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
The other areas is 419, Pearl, and then, 2 addresses that are 103 on Spring Street, 103 and 170. A very nice lot. And, this would make a very nice residential lot for someone, and potentially 2. Again, I don't know, you remember, you know, back in the day, the old plating and stuff, you had a lot of, narrow shotgun, type, style housing and that type for lot lines. But I think you could, clean some of this up and make it very nice and have a very nice lot in some of these areas. First Street, I think that's a buildable lot there. You combine those 2, you could take that and, maybe build something on that. I don't know. Those are things that we could look at as we move forward. 4th Street's got a nice area here. I know that the bottom portion of that along 4th is in a drainage area there. But the upper portions of that can be, fixed, and even the, recent, RFP that we received, they had on the upper side of this, up in here, they had a complex being built up in here with some, work to be, the drive to be brought around that way. So, there's potential there for things to be done besides this being just unusable land and growing up and having to be maintained all the time. And, we know that maintenance issues with these type of things are very difficult to take care of. And I know that we, for many years, we would send out mowers to all these places and, you know, spend a lot of money just mowing these properties. Madison and 2nd Street's another area. You can see there, nice, square, and you could, I think, take that and potentially make 2 out of that if you wanted to. Definitely, we know definitely 1, but potentially 2 in that area. So with those, and this information, what we would like to do is make sure that you all, as a commission, are on board with what we're doing in soliciting bids. I run this through, the attorney and the city manager. These would be 501c3 entities. We would have a pre-bid meeting. We would bring these folks in and say, this is what we're looking for. You know, they know more about what they do than we do. And if we need to provide them additional information, or they need to provide us additional information as we move through. And one thing that's to note, this is not the lowest bid. In the verbiage for this under KRS 45A, they do allow you to award to an entity based on the best value to the to the city in this case, and that's how I've set this up. And, so that way we don't get hung up saying somebody, well, it may not work for us. It may not work for the area. And we need to be able to say, this is what we, want to do and, how we want to proceed. So it's gonna be it's not a big, long, drawn out proposal. They can be in multiple different types of ways, but I wanted to let you all know where we're going with this and make sure that you're okay with it and take any suggestions that you might have as a commission as we do move forward. That's all I have. Got any questions?
Questions for Mike? Comments?
I got a question. 112 First Street. Is that somebody's trailer or house sitting at 112 First Street?
No, is there something on that right now, Joe?
Yeah.
Is,
Yeah.
we have to check.
Yeah, I mean, we own it. We've got to do it.
Yeah, these are city-owned properties. Every one of these are city-owned properties that we've got deeds to. I wouldn't put them out there for sale if we didn't own them.
Okay.
We need to check into that.
I think you need to check that because I used to live at 112 First Street, and I don't know if that's LaDonna Bell house is sitting there or not on 112 First Street.
Okay. We'll check that.
So we have the deed to it now, correct?
We do.
Well,
You want me to go get it?
We
when
need-
was these pictures updated?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They're right off of GIS.
That's
They're brand new.
GIS, so
Yeah,
that's
they're-
within a year.
It's within this year.
I mean, there
Yeah.
could be a trailer, but not a house.
Well, it's not a house there, but
Okay.
she's close to 112 First Street for sure.
Yes, sir.
Now, there's a house there at 110, Joe. Would that be it?
No,
I said houses.
No.
I lived at 112.
Oh, Jesse's got something.
That picture, they haven't paved that parking lot area right there where Town Branch runs through, so that's probably a few months old. It may be right before, so they haven't paved that, it's not showing that pavement area now, parking, so they may have moved something in since it's paved.
Okay.
So you're saying this is how this area?
They paved that.
She's been on it for a long time.
Yeah, right as they started working on all the housing units right there. That's been paved about 4 or 5
We'll
months
check
ago.
it.
We'll take it underneath them.
Might not have updated in GIS yet, it's might be an old picture.
Gotcha.
It'll be a savings to the city if we did this, since we're maintaining all these properties and it's getting ready, as Commissioner Strode has said numerous times, for the season to start mowing. With Public Works, I'm sure you'd like to have those off your plate, Brian. Very much. And we bought these properties. I mean, we had to hold the deeds to them. Diana's done a phenomenal job, as well as you have, getting this in order for us. And I like, Shannon and I've had this discussion on numerous occasions about home ownership. That's the goal, always, to take people from rental to home ownership.
The only truly affordable housing is something you own,
That's correct.
because you control what you pay for it, you control who lives there, you control, it's yours.
Well, it gives people hope,
Well, and,
you know?
and the thing about it is, you can pass your home down to the next generation. It's just like leasing a car. I cannot imagine ever leasing a car and paying somebody for their depreciation.
And what I'll do, before we, and make sure that the dates won't be, exactly correct on this. But what I'll do is I'll send the advertisement, the bid sheet, and I've got Stephen, with you guys, he's gonna put together the mapping for me of this in the four, in the areas that, for each of these, is we've got them, because we got them blocked off in the bid sheet, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The bid sheet's blocked off just like these, slides were blocked off as far as that, and you'll have that many maps in the request for, or the solicitation for bids. And what I'll do is I'll provide you a copy of that before we bid advertisement out, and that way, if anybody has any issues with it before we bid it, you can pass it along to Bruce, which pass it along to me, and make sure that we can do that. So, I think we're okay, and, I think we're ready to move on some of these and do what we need to do, get them off our books, and like I said, return them to the tax rolls and make them be useful pieces of property versus just sitting there bare bones and not doing anything, to, benefit the community.
Are you thinking about
Benefit
putting
the
them,
community or anybody.
are you considering putting them all out there at the same time?
Oh, we'll put this whole,
Right.
we'll put this whole lot out there,
Okay.
at one time and see where we go with it.
Now, if we were going, if a nonprofit were interested in this, would we put any kind of restrictions on them about how fast they had to build on all of these lots? Say if they had 6 houses to build somewhere else and couldn't get to these immediately, you know?
That's
Well,
it.
we're only wanting a 501c3, right? I mean, it is gonna be a nonprofit. no matter
Yeah, it's gonna
what.
be a nonprofit.
Well, there's only a couple of them that.
But I
Yeah,
guess what you're saying.
There's 2 or 3
We know
that
three.
are out there. And, any other questions? Thanks, Joe, for that information. We'll
You're
double
welcome.
check on that.
And you know, Mike, there on Almond Court, there's 2 more properties we've tried to acquire, but they have a rental deal with their landlord. So, but we'd still like to acquire those other 2, so we could put multifamily right there.
That's
Not
definitely,
us, somebody.
that's definitely a potential for that type of housing. And due to the fact that, Tyler Banks is there and all the improvements that they've made and utilization of their existing drive would be phenomenal to make all that happen. If I were a rich man that had endless possibilities, this is a very, I think, a very developable piece of land to do something like that. But we're not looking for that. We're looking to help our community. So, well, that's what we want.
That may be something that we could get somebody interested in, veteran type housing, because with the, I don't know how you would do if it would be the back of the lot or the side of the lot and
Right.
them
Right.
going down a
'Cause
sharp.
this road comes all the way to right in here and
And-
stops.
And then, but you have that drop down to Maple Street,
Right.
so you wouldn't wanna put folks with kids in those,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
And the other thing is that this is the first thing you see when you come in off of Maple Street down through there. So you can beautify that, and make that look much better than it does today. And I think it has an enormous potential, and we just gotta see where we go. So I'll send the bid packet out to you guys. It's short, nothing huge, 3 to 4 pages. And if you all got any comments on it or wanna add anything to it or take anything out of it, let us know and we'll go from there. We'll, during the month of April, probably, mid-April, we'll be bidding this and it's gonna be on the street for 14 to 21 days, something like that.
I just want to make a comment. Great job, Diana and Mike both. We thank you so much. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yes, we have.
14 to 21 days, so what you said.
Yes, ma'am, that's typical bid for them.
Okay, anyone, before we move on, have anything else to add to Mike? We good? Okay, looks like we've got about 22 minutes till our next, session starts. So let's see this, do you have anything for closed session?
No, Mayor.
Mr. Dykeman, do you have anything for closed session?
No, Mayor, I don't.
Okay, so we'll not do a closed session. And, it's not on here, we can't go ahead and do our comments, can we, because it's not on our special call. Okay, let's, have a motion to, adjourn the 4:30 session, return at 5:30. Motion by Commissioner Cox, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tool, any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, by like sign? We stand adjourned. This is the new.
I'm gonna do it.
worry you. But I'll kind of think about it in a year.
Thank you. I hope I didn't miss any.
And by molding out. Fixed.
The receiving or like resetting or just.
You want this in the building? You want them?
They've gone down.
They have stabilized.
No, you're good.
People are out talking on, bringing the flushes and the house.
In my estimation. that-
Might help you easier those rates on there, so it helped you
Yeah.
advance easier, have those rates in front of you. All right,
Right,
that was cool, so.
Cause it's, yeah, we're gonna lose Thursday, Friday. for sure. Yeah.
And plus folks are gardening, they're building.
Flood test. Big flood test.
Oh, it was?
I didn't know the most of 5 to 10.
It is.
I don't like a scoop. Unless you wish to put it down. Oh, no, I'm eager. It's there.
You can get administration board, the last meeting that they had. But he's, I think we cleaned up his front yard a little bit, but his backyard needs work. She's got the, they've been.
How we doing?
And, yeah,
Doing well.
so
What y'all up to?
we have to, yeah, his backyard does need a cleaning. Yeah, it goes up. It goes up in the alley. Okay, and in the back, he's got a mess. Now the front part, he's done cleaned it up a little bit, but the back, yeah, he needs to clean up the back. He's got a mess in the back. Yeah, I done drove back there and checked it out and everything, because she was so hot that the administration board made the Kimball kid, they fined him. See, they gave him a fine. I don't know if they fined him or not. And that was the problem.
Charles, that's right. Somebody named
I know.
Yeah, so she's not directly on 112, she's not on one, that's where I live, on First Street, with 112 First Street.
John and Cooper is right here,
Mhm.
and these are the two parcels that we're talking about.
Okay, the one that's next to,
This is 112. 116.
116 is next to the bridge. It's going downhill, right?
Robert Holmes owns all that over there.
Okay, there's a bridge, there's a bridge ranch.
Well,
Yeah,
this
there
is
was
a
a little-
flood zone right here. so
Mhm.
that's-
And there was a little house right here that was right next to the road. Jared Evans back in the day lived there, but the house is gone. And so, like you can't put another house right there. But it was a house there. It was houses from the corner all the way down to the brink. And I know we lived at 112 First Street, something else.
This one was Effie Hedges estate. And I haven't had a good address for anybody for that on that one since I've worked with it. And don't seem
I
to
don't
be.
know, Hedges, I know everybody that from the corner to the branch that lived there. But that's been, we're talking years ago, years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah, well, the property was so old that we had to have this plat made because there wasn't even a plat for the property.
The only other one I had concern, and I didn't say anything, on Fourth Street, is this the upper Fourth Street? Now, this is not a Charles Festivus lot.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
You have-
Yeah, you do, but you know he's passed.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, his son, this goes, Brian Thomas is handling his estate. Yeah, he,
Well, we've got liens against him, but no, this was,
now, is
this was John Green, and this was John Green.
okay, you're
Both
across
of
the
these,
street.
both of those two are
Yeah.
John Green.
Yeah.
And this one was, Lane, Johnny Lane, and J.K. Tyler.
Wanting to be anywhere.
Who was
And
it?
then
J.K.
J.K.
Tyler.
Yeah, it was Tyler and Lane, L-A-I-N-E.
we'll take it all.
J.
And,
Tyler.
and Green.
I'm not, I know,
There's a
know
lot of
about the
different
green.
places.
Oh,
They're across the street as you go down for. Yeah, we,
This is all right in a row.
okay,
And, well, right here, they're all straight in a row. This one and this one are the green
right,
properties.
right,
And these two little ones, one of them belonged to Johnny Lane and
Yeah.
one of them belonged to Tyler.
okay, okay. And the one on Maple Street, where's,
Um,
I'm not picturing, cause the expressway is right there.
the address for this one right here is Maple.
Well, I guess they do
That, the
all.
official address for that one, for some reason, is Maple. I don't know why, but it
But either
is.
way.
Now, the
you could
two-
do
This is 21, 23, and 25 Almond, and the address on that one is 216 North Maple. It was Helen
Yeah.
Quisenberry estate.
No. Those
Oh,
two
sure.
houses, if I'm right, where we at, if you come off of Madison,
Oh, okay.
turn right on Maple, on the expressway. You got two houses there.
Oh,
You're
this one's not.
Right.
No, I brought this one just
Both
in
of those
case.
look out, take front of property. If I'm right, I could be wrong.
These two houses right here.
No, I'm not even using it.
Steve Adams.
Okay.
And this one was Helen Quisenberry. And the one in the middle was Robert Dobbins. And one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, you back up in the, okay, you just back up in the, on the court. You said Robert Dobbins, so that's gone. Those houses, all of those houses.
Oh,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
that's pretty
I
cool.
lived there too. It was 210 North Maple Street. And that was back in the days when they put the expressway.
I like that.
Yeah, they kicked the houses up. They lived in them, but we lived in them and they just booted them back. Yeah.
So that's why that one's got a Maple.
I've no idea. I
Street
thought
address.
Joe.
Why they have
You
Maple
spoke
Street
up.
address.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
two,
Here's some, I have deep
210
voice.
North Maple back in the day.
Sorry.
210, oh, 216 was Ben Hayes's, Josie Hooten lived there, but it was the Ben Hayes house.
Thank
And
you.
you had Hooten, Dobbins, my house, Ida Steele, and then
Oh, it's like a full
the one
screen.
on Madison is faces. Does it face Madison where you have to go up in there? Is Miss Berry,
I'm not ready for a joke.
Ian Berry's house.
We got these on Madison.
Really?
One of them was the Nathaniel Wright. This one
Is it West Cartwright?
On up the
It could be
street.
West Cartwright,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
that-
like-
That's the corner lot on Second.
One of these,
Mary,
I think one of these was an urban development.
what happened?
Now you still, they still got the corner lot on Madison that they mow. That's got
Well, we've
a,
been mowing all this.
right, that's got a well in it.
Once a month, there'll be
Uh,
a ranch.
So if you sell that, that's got a well backside of that property. Beverly Glover lives next to that. We have tried to donate it to her quite a few times. Never did work. So. Okay. But the only one I was in concerned with was 112 First Street. That's where, okay. Thank you, dear.
The tarantula wouldn't live outside. As cold as it got last night. Yeah. But I mean, they don't eat it, you know, they couldn't tolerate it. When we were in Guatemala on that mission trip a couple years ago, I kept in the shower one night, and one on the floor. The guy, the host there at the.
Yes.
I said I would crush it, but across the way, he said, you're over there. If you crush it, it have a salt.
Right. And we didn't have to. That really never really thing.
Yeah. I was checking, so I was like. I mean.
Would you please lead us in the pledge of allegiance? Everyone, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands
Please remain standing. I'm gonna ask Dr. Manley if he'll lead us in the invocation.
Let's pray. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you today to ask for your guidance, for your wisdom as we lead the city in all things, dear Lord. We just ask for your safety and your blessing over our first responders, our community, our residents, and everyone associated with the city tonight. Thank you, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. We'll officially call the meeting to order. First item is a presentation by the Winchester Public Works 2024-2025 update, and we'll ask Director Brian Sewell to come forward and give that to us. Thank you, Brian. Okay, how are you?
So Joey asked me, last week if I put something together to go over the last year, what we've done, and so I'm gonna try to do a 30,000 foot view of, and hit some of the bigger items. You know, our main focus is our storm sewer system and our street maintenance. We also, as you all are aware, not everybody always realizes it is, Public Works is also vehicle maintenance as well. We have 2 full-time mechanics that service the majority of the city's fleet, and we took a shallow dive and looked at a few things that they do, just general maintenance. You know, they did approximately 300 oil changes last year, went through approximately about 50 tires, and that's including everything from police cruiser tires to tractor tires to sweeper tires. Sweeper always seems to find a nail somewhere. And you know, that's just a small portion of what they do. I mean, you know, any given day, you never know what's going to come in. You know, I've seen many things from doing those small maintenance type repairs to, you know, changing out full engines or digging deep into an engine or changing transmissions. And they do everything they can to try to keep everything running.
So besides potholes and curbing and guttering and all that, you all are doing all this mechanical work as well.
Yeah, we've been lucky. We've got 2 good mechanics that try their best to keep everything going for us and do it as cheap as possible. Switching over, looking at the street side of things in the past year, we picked up about 275 tons of trash and debris with the street sweeper last year. And that varies year to year. I don't really know what affects it, but you know, some years will be 300, 350 tons. Last year we were about 275. And you know, and that's including what we get off the streets, but as well as what we vacuum out of the storm sewer system as well. That's something that last year, trying to be more proactive and actually set down a schedule with our storm sewer system, is going over our city. For us, is divided into 5 routes. That's how we treat our things. It's how we treat when it comes to snow and ice. And so we were able to last year get through 3 of the 5 routes with inspecting all of our boxes, vacuuming them if they needed them. Any of the lines that we saw that needed to be jet shot, we took care of that as well. Another big thing that we started later in the year last year was the sidewalk program. And there's been a sidewalk program for a long time, but we kind of revised that last year. And so after that was passed, we were able to do 350 feet of sidewalk is what we were able to replace last year, and that's following our paving program. So we hope this year we're actually starting back into everything now that the weather's breaking. We hope to increase that number some more this year. Realistically, I don't know where we can line up, but I hope 500-600 feet of sidewalk and just keep increasing each year as we can. And I think as we keep getting crews start getting used to it, and as we continue to get the equipment and tools and things that we need for it, it'll go faster and we can do more and more every year. Another thing that we keep up with, and we have to keep up with, is our sign maintenance. And that's not just stop signs getting knocked down and or somebody stealing a parking sign downtown. That's also making sure that we're compliant with everything as well. And for the past 12 years, I believe it is, we've been working on that compliance. So everything we do is set by the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control, and that's set by the Federal Highway Administration. So I think it was 12, 14 years ago, they decided to do an unfunded mandate to change the types of films that we were allowed to use as well as the size of signs that we're allowed to use. So we've been spending a section of town each year and a section, you know, and allotting a certain amount of money each year to try to get around the city to get all those in compliance. And we're finally, here within the next 2 months, we should be complete with that. They make revisions pretty regularly on it too, and I think we're gonna have to go back on a few different signs and change again, but it's nothing gonna be near as severe as what we've done in the past, because we've had to change out all the stop signs, speed limit signs, anything regulatory, as well as, street markers were upsized. The regulation on that went to 9 inches minimum, so, hopefully we'll get that wrapped up here soon. Painting, we try to get over the entire city once every other year. So, and one of the biggest amounts of paint that we use is our yellow curving for no parking around fire hydrants and.
Can I have a can of that?
Sure. 5 bucket, all right.
We sold it low, and
So that we try to get over it every other year. And it's with the exception of industrial park, we've switched to contracting that out because it's just gotten, too unsafe for our guys to be out there trying to do it with a small machine. So we painted that last year, and so we'll keep an eye on it. We try to get, like I say, 3 years, so hopefully we can make it into, 27 at least, and then maybe 28, and we'll have to restrike it again. I mentioned about the storm sewer maintenance, how we're trying to be proactive on that and keep that maintained as best as possible, and main thing is just prevent flooding in the future, as well as identifying some places that to try to keep failures from happening unexpectedly, because it is costly. Anything underground it's going to be expensive. I would say one of the biggest accomplishments we had last year was we finally completed the salt barn. That's been a long time coming. That started conversations back in 2018, 2019, and we've slowly took it a phase at a time to get the design done. And 23, we were finally allocated the money we had the design completed. We were able to go on and bid out the project, and they started in late 23 and they wrapped up last year. Matter of fact, they had a few punch list items, and so here a few weeks ago, they finally had everything complete. The last invoice has been paid, and we were lucky to have it to use it this winter. And it really saved us having that extra capacity. And honestly, without it, we would have ran probably the closest I ever remember to being out of salt. And so it was a blessing to have it, and it's going to serve us well for a long time. Hopefully.
That was the question I was gonna ask you. How much salt did we use this year?
We use just a hair over 900 tons, what we use.
Wow.
950.
950
Yeah.
tons. And we have probably what left?
We have probably 125 ton left.
So you're thankful for that salt.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll work towards, eventually the goal with it is when we go into winter, it's already full. We don't have to worry about waiting on orders to come in. You know, we can
That's
just take
That's good.
a year at a time to do it.
Good improvement.
It's been a blessing. Those are the main things. As far as, you know, there's a lot of little things that we do day to day. I mean, you never know what you're gonna face. But as far as future goals, you know, for this year and years in the future, it's just to continue to provide as good a service as we can and try to keep the cost down as much as we can. It's, especially when it comes to cost, it's harder and harder to do. Equipment has got expensive and materials have got very expensive. But, we do the best we can and just keep that going.
And I hope you know how much you're appreciated and the guys are appreciated. And you all paint, you haul wood when we have storms from the trees, the limbs, you do the snow removal, you do the crosswalks, you do the curbs, you do the gutters. You do what makes this city run.
They do a lot of things that's not
Yeah.
in their job description.
And let the guys know how much they're appreciated from all of us.
Do you get any questions, Dave?
Parks
Questions,
guys said they couldn't do it without you all. If Public Works did not help the parks, they'd be in trouble. and you pick up loads, like I called you not too long ago, and you picked up a whole load off of Main Street.
Mhm.
So there are things like that that you really do when WMU can't get around to do it.
Mhm.
So we thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Patching that hole today on Main Street. I believe you all did that.
I think actually,
That was
WMU did
That was
that.
WMU.
Oh, forgive me, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well, it's a good team effort.
least-
It's a good team effort, yes.
yeah, we've reported it to the state a couple times, but they hadn't gotten to it yet, so, but, I think with WMU was able to do a temporary.
Thank you, Brian, appreciate it so much. Okay, if I can find my glasses so I can see what this says. All right, let's go to, new business, items 3A through D. Item A, request to close Wheeler Avenue from College to Fitch, the Parkside Lane of Fitch Avenue from Wheeler to Dudley, the Parkside of Dudley from Fitch to College, and the Parkside Lane of College from Dudley to Wheeler, June 8, 2025, from 8 to 10 a.m. for the Wind Sprint Triathlon. Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 3B, request from Police Chief Travis Thompson for out-of-state travel for Patrolman Blake Gabbard and K-9 Jensick to Nashville, Tennessee, September 9 through 11, 2025, for the 2025 K-9 Cop Conference and Vendor Show. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 3C, request to close Depot Street for the annual farmers market. Write these dates down in your calendar. May 10 through October 4th, 2025, Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tool. Any discussion?
Can we, discuss the September 13th? That, thank you for noticing that on the calendar. I believe it's a summer vendor fair that had already requested Depot Street from, what did I say? Oh, 10 a.m. I thought it was 11 a.m. to like 4 p.m.
On which day we talking about?
Same, September 13th, sorry, it's on
Okay.
some of our notes. I guess I was just gonna see, I don't know, if there can be some compromise. I'm just looking at you because you know the calendar, but,
Who's doing the vendor fair?
A lady who's gonna be for the last, I think, 2 years, her name is Rena Whalen. And she requested that last November.
it was November, I actually had a screenshot. November 19th, we approved it, and it is 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. from this on the, in November. Just to point that out, I would feel, I don't know what the
Could
setup
we
situation, breakdown
contact her?
situation is.
And have her get with Ken or whoever to see if they can work out a compromise on that day.
And the farmer's market will.
You say it started at 11?
Well, it starts at 11, but I think they asked for the road to be closed down an hour ahead of time, just so they can set up.
This was just the like.
They
the
might be
title.
able to do it after the farmer's market.
Farmers markets, they usually stay.
Till
requested.
12.
Yeah.
There's like an hour overlap,
Yeah,
at least.
just an hour.
So, but we.
But
should
there's the
fix
setup
that.
time too.
Right, if
Set
they
up
ask for
the
the.
vendor, so it's actually 2 hours.
2 hours.
I wonder if, clearly they could figure it out being their own events, but if they could somehow go to the back end of Depot and start like back setting up and then work their way as farmer's market
Well,
works their way out.
She requested
She requested it first, technically.
11 to 4.
Yeah, with an hour to
She-
shut down the roads. For
I only-
setup.
I only put on the time that they want to, have it. I don't put on the time that they need to set up and stuff. So basically, they can set up, they need to set up, but they're gonna start the event at 11 o'clock.
Well, I think it's kind of an important topic to tackle at some point as to what Depot Street means to the farmer's market and if that's like a default thing.
Well,
Why don't you contact the two individuals and see if they can work it out? I mean, we could sit here all night and try to work it out. Just let them work it out.
Sounds good.
Is that okay, Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are we on D now?
No, you have a motion in a second.
Okay, so you just throw me off. All in favor, aye? Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 3D, request to close Bell's Alley from Lexington Avenue to Gay Street from 9 a.m. Friday. Let's be sure I got the right times that have been adjusted in here. I'll read it off of here. Request to close Bell's Alley from Lexington Avenue to Gate Street, 9 a.m. Friday, April 4 to 1 p.m. Saturday, April 5, 2025, for the Kentucky Baptist WMU annual meeting. And if my understanding, this is a statewide meeting. We're bringing approximately 500 attendees in from across the state. There are 340, stopped by the church and asked a few questions today. 340 people that are registered, I believe 150 volunteers, and then the staff, so over 500 people will be in here, hopefully helping boost tourism. They're staying in our hotels, they're eating at our restaurants, and they're shopping, hopefully, on Main Street, because they can walk across the street and come shop. So, is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to ask to abstain from this vote. I feel that the application does not follow the proper protocol and procedure for our street closures, and so I looked through Robert's rule and I'd like to abstain from this vote.
And is your reasoning for not being 30 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I do think that happens.
Joy, does that happen sometimes?
It does happen sometimes.
I won't find the need to debate it and make it a more public scenario, but I'm
But it
abstaining.
does happen, right?
It
That's
has,
fine.
it has
We've heard
happened.
we abstain, so,
It has happened before.
okay. You know, and I do want to say, I see some representatives from Central Baptist here, actually. How much we thank you for sharing your parking lot with us. I know that last year we did the fifth grade government academy. We had 451 fifth graders over there on that parking lot area. Our police department's utilizing the parking lot right now. I counted 8 cruisers over there today. And, you're allowing parking on your parking lot during the high side renovation. So I wanted to, while we're on the topic, say thank you for that. So, we have a motion
And a second.
and a second.
Mhm.
All in favor? Oh, let's do a voice vote.
Okay.
I think that helped Commissioner Tool out there.
Commissioner Chenault,
Yes, I'm for it.
Commissioner Strode,
Yes.
Mayor Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
I just have a question. We've got 2 forms here. But the updated one is it's only going to be closed from 7 to 10:30 on Friday and not overnight.
Not overnight.
You guys gonna have any kind of control out there for traffic? You're gonna have guys in orange vest out there and stuff that's gonna.
Let's let, let's let the chief. Do we say?
The police department will be assisting.
Okay. But you guys are gonna have that too. Okay.
And I understand Commissioner Toole's concern. Only thing is, when people don't know they're supposed to fill out a form, you don't know till you don't know. But I think from now on, they'll be in compliance because now they know.
I
So,
think that opens up the door for a lot of possible things, including litigation, but
yeah, I think the email you sent this morning, it said potential litigation from opening for allowing this in the alley. I talked to Mr.
Well,
Wright.
look, can I speak, Mayor? It'll be all right.
Speak away. And if anybody's some people are looking for you, he's in the ceiling.
I mean, I think it's unfortunate that it was put on the form the way it was. I don't think this is an event that the way that the street closure requirements seem to address. I mean, it's an event only in the broadest sense of the word. I mean, you could call it what it is, a meeting, or what we're talking about is private property where the event will be held, the conference will be held. There will be parking on a parking lot that they own, and they're asking to close part of the alley for a limited amount of time for really just for citizen safety, public safety issues. It's not my reading of this is not, this doesn't apply. This is an occurrence, a conference, call it an event if you want, but it's not the kind of event that our policy adopted in January of 2023 addresses. This is just an outlier. It happens, as Joy said, it happens once in a while. It is an outlier. I think it's unfortunate that we filled it out an application for event street closures. That's the form that it was filled out on. But that's only an event in the broadest sense. That's not what this is. This is not our property. It is their property, and they're asking for some safety concerns to be addressed. That's my take.
Thank you, Mr. Dykeman. The only thing I will ask the church is if you'll just let the folks that own property up and down Gay Street know we're gonna have a lot going on. Just knock on our door and say you may be having company. And appreciate that. So let's see, where were we on?
You've got a motion and a second.
And on the vote, voice vote.
You need to vote.
Oh, you brought it.
You vote what?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Commissioner
Commissioner
Sewell.
Poole?
Do you vote abstention,
Yes.
please?
But we need to make it a policy of this board.
Well, this is the policy, and it's black and white, and it's a city
Yes.
street, and it's nothing against anything other than we are here to uphold policy, so.
And we even need to figure out a way to advertise that we do have this policy, so people do know. I don't know if we can put something out that.
Well, I know the 30 days has been there for a long time, but maybe moving forward, we could put a date requested line. I know we just updated this, so. But a date requested line would be nice, and this is not to the current event we're discussing, but 501c3 documentation would be nice too.
Except churches, are exempt.
Well, whatever
All
documentation they,
501c3.
yeah.
But it clearly says on this thing, in red ink, the only red ink on it says 30 days.
We're gonna have another one.
And, well, this one says 30 days.
I think the
It
point
doesn't
is,
say 30 days and we're gonna have another one after that.
I'm
It
saying
says,
we're gonna have
yes.
another event that's not gonna meet that 30-day requirement, because I'm waiting on an insurance certificate.
well, for a plannable event,
but
I feel like it is within
But
the
you
power
know-
to do this beforehand.
once again, you either have a rule or you don't.
Right, that's
Well,
what we're here to
Commissioner
uphold.
Cox, do you want to change your vote? No.
No, I won't, but I mean,
Well, you're welcome if you want to.
but again, we either have rules or we don't. And if we have rules and don't go by the rules, that's called anarchy.
And Mr. Dykeman, you said that does not really apply to this situation, correct?
Yes, Mayor, that's my take. I mean, I don't think that's the purpose of the closures that we do. I mean, you look at the monetary consideration, it's clearly about monitoring events, whether they're sanctioned by the city or endorsed by the city, adopted by the city. That is not this. I mean, it just doesn't fit this particular unique factual circumstance, in my view. I mean, you can have different views, so you can say we got a rule and we got to apply it. I'm saying this rule does not apply as a matter of law from my perspective, because again, it's their property that they're parking on. It's their property where they are convening. All they're asking for is to close an alley for a while. It is not an event in the way that we put out a policy to deal with. So that's my opinion. I'm the city attorney and I'm supposed to give a legal opinion. That is my legal opinion. This is an outlier situation. It doesn't apply.
Okay, and if we look at that form, most of everything on that form mentions Main Street, Main Street, Main Street, Main Street. All through there. So if we're gonna include other areas, we need to revisit that at some point. So, let's move on and.
I just had a comment, I understand totally. what
Mr.
Doug-
Costelli,
Tom Costelli,
would you, for the record, just state your name and your address for me, please?
Tom Costelli, 3649 Waterworks Road, Winchester, Kentucky. I understand what Mr. Dykeman is saying. However, the request there is not for the use of their personal property. The request is for the closure of the street. That's the gist of the request. So, one would think that when you have an event of this magnitude, that you would know a year perhaps in advance that you were gonna be hosting that, and that you would be, you would be more timely in your request in accordance with what the policies and procedures are.
And I'll tell you, I know this pretty much for a fact, Chief, if I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong, okay? But I understand, Tom, that what's been done in the past is the church over time has picked the phone up, called the police chief, said, we want to close the alley for blank, and he says, go ahead. And I think they were caught completely off guard by having to file a form that said that, because they've never, ever been required to do that. And this is not the first time. So I think that's probably the answer.
Yeah, and I understand that. We just don't want this to be a precedent-setting issue, that this is repeated time after time after time. And as Mr. Cox stated if there's a policy and procedure that an organization is supposed to comply with, whether it be private or a nonprofit organization, then that needs to be, they need to be aware of it.
Okay, appreciate your comments. Thank you. Okay, so.
You still need a vote?
The vote was?
Yes, I'm sorry. 4 and 1 abstention.
4 and 1 abstention. Okay, motion carries. All right, let's move on to number 4, ordinances. This is for a second reading, and we will be taking a voice vote on this. City Clerk?
This is a summary, an ordinance amending sections of ordinance number 2-2022 to amend section 6.5-51 nepotism. A complete copy of the ordinance may be reviewed at the office of the city clerk, 32 Wall Street. I hereby certify that the foregoing caption is an accurate summary of the contents of this ordinance.
Okay, is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Strode. Oh, no. Let's do a voice vote.
No,
Well, you have to do motion.
Okay, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no,
Second,
you still need a motion in a second.
okay, who's motion? I thought you did.
Yeah.
Commissioner
Strode.
Strode, second.
I'll second it.
Second, Commissioner Tool. Any discussion? Now take the voice vote, please.
Commissioner Schnall,
Yes.
Commissioner Strode,
Yes.
Mayor Reed.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Tool.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5, ordinance. This is for first reading. Enjoy, just for the commission's information, if it's blue on the map, that's the changes that the fiscal court made.
Yeah, this is a joint ordinance and it's about the medical cannabis. And anything in red is what the planning commission wanted changed in the ordinance. And when it was taken over to the county, they asked for the items in blue to be added to the ordinance. And since it's joint ordinance.
Okay.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay. This is a summary, a joint ordinance of the city of Winchester, Kentucky and the county of Clark, Kentucky, amending Article 6 zoning districts, Article 11 sign regulations, and Article 12 definitions of the Winchester Clark County zoning ordinance, updating language associated with medical cannabis and the use of cultivating, dispensing, processing, and producing within the city and county. A complete copy of the ordinance is available at City Hall. I hereby certify that the foregoing is an accurate summary of the contents of the above entitled ordinance. William A. Dyckman, City Attorney.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item B.
This is a summary, an ordinance amending ordinance number 6-2024, an ordinance establishing an abandoned urban property and blighted urban property in the city of Winchester Code of Ordinances classified as a separate class of real property. A complete copy of the ordinance may be reviewed at the office of the city clerk, 32 Wall Street. I hereby certify that the foregoing is an accurate summary of the contents of the above entitled ordinance. William A. Dyckman, City Attorney.
Is there a motion?
Amen.
Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 6B.
An order rescinding order number 2025-69, an order appointing Regina Spencer to the Clark County Winchester Heritage Commission to fill the unexpired term of Paula Thomas commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2026.
And it's my understanding, Joy, that, this was requested by Ms. Spencer because she feels she's unable to serve.
Right.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool, second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 6B.
An order accepting and entering into an interlocal agreement with the Clark County Fiscal Court for countywide emergency medical services.
Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item C.
An order approving funding from the Downtown Development Investment Fund for retail kickstart and new business stipend grants for a certain property located at 21 South Main Street in the amount of $7,000.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 6D.
An order appointing Sherry Hostler to the Clark County Winchester Heritage Commission to fill the unexpired term of Paula Thomas commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2026.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Now, if you'll notice, items E, F, and G all have to do with the Lincoln Street redevelopment project. Wait just a minute, Commissioner. And we need to ask Commissioner Cox and Commissioner Chenault to leave the room, but I think according to our clerk, you need to stay why you tell us you're recusing yourself and why.
I am recusing myself because I am a member of the Habitat for Humanity Board.
Okay? And you're asking to be recused?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Chenault?
I'm recusing myself. I am eternally just over the new board and my wife owns property out there.
Okay,
I don't.
we'll see you guys in about an hour. Okay, Madam Clerk, it's down to the ladies right now, it looks like. Okay,
Thought he said that. I answered it.
An order approving a contract with Michael S. Jones Appraisal for appraisal services through the Commonwealth of Kentucky for the Community Development Block Grant for the Lincoln Street Redevelopment Project Phase 2.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item F.
An order approving a contract with White McCann Stewart for legal services through the Commonwealth of Kentucky for the Community Development Block Grant for the Lincoln Street Redevelopment Project Phase 2.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Strode, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tool, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item G.
An order approving a contract with Larry Disney for review appraisal services through the Commonwealth of Kentucky for the Community Development Block Grant for the Lincoln Street Redevelopment Project Phase 2.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Okay, before we bring them back, you know, this is April Fools, so let's just leave them out there for a while. But Chief, do you mind to tell the commissioners they can go back in? Thank you.
Thank you.
Just leave them out there. I told them it was April Fool's, I'll just leave you all out there.
It is a Fool's Day.
Thanks for the pen.
Thank you.
All right, we're on item 7.
I stole this from your desk.
I recognize that.
Item 7, A through I, we will strike J off of the agenda. That's already been taken care of apparently some way. Let's go to personnel orders, A through I.
An order adopting a grant writer position description, classification, and pay plan.
Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner
Yes,
Strode.
ma'am.
Is there a second?
I'll take the second.
Commissioner Tool, any discussion?
I hope we get one.
Oh my God, so excited. Any discussion? Other than, I hope we get Amy, my sister, me too. We're
Finding one's the problem.
We're
Yeah.
trying hard.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 7B,
An order granting educational and certification incentive salary increases to certain personnel.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 7C,
An order granting longevity salary increases to certain personnel.
is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Commissioner Cox, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 7D,
An order reclassifying Monty Corbett, Matthew Reed, and John Lorette.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 7E,
An order reclassifying Tony Clayton and Nicholas Riggs.
is Nicholas supposed to be NI right there?
Well, yes, I didn't have my proofreader
Well, I didn't know
here
if it was
Friday.
Nicholas or Nicholas. Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool, second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 7F,
In order terminating the employment of Amber Ball, EMS Lieutenant.
is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tool. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 7G,
An order employing Steve Hamilton to fill the position of crossing guard.
is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second by Commissioner Tool. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 7H,
An order employing Joni Goble to fill the position of part-time single role paramedic.
is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 7I,
An order employing Ronan Colati to fill the position of part-time single role EMTB.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Okay, Madam Clerk, have we had anyone sign up from the general public concerning items not on the agenda?
Yes, I believe we have.
Okay.
Mr. Walker.
Oh, Mr. Chad Walker? Okay, come on down.
It's what? What's your name?
And you're,
What did I say?
Not sure, but
you were so nice and
You're right.
dressed up, we should have introduced you.
yeah, you're carrying it.
Sorry about that.
This is just a follow-up. Y'all are brave, let me in here on April Fool's Day. but
Yeah,
I
we
feel
are.
like we were brave. And Mr. Manlin, I've talked about this a couple times, looping back on the state road, the city road thing. I know you wanna wait until the high side's done, but I kinda hate. I've done everything you've asked me to get to this point, and it's been about a month and a half. Can we not at least go ahead and have a discussion of whether or not you're gonna vote on it prior to the high side and then we kick in, or at least get all the ducks in a row beforehand? That way we're not doing this exercise yet again in November, December, January, whenever high side's done, and then start again for another year and possible another administration after that, and et cetera, et cetera.
You've asked for a yes or a no, I understand. Is that correct?
A yes or no?
A yes, we're gonna do it that way, or no, we're not? A definitive answer, I think is what I heard you wanted. Is that correct?
Oh, I'd love
So-
to have, that way I can go back to downtown group when we meet next,
On
next every
February-
2 weeks, that we
on-
can say.
On February 4th minutes, I'll read them. Mayor Reed is stating that currently the city has no intention of moving forward until the High Side project is completed. I read the wrong one. Mayor Reed stated she didn't think right now the city had any intention of moving forward until the High Side project was completed. So my statement tonight is Mayor Reed is stating that currently the city has no intention of moving forward until the High Side project is completed and we revisit the possibility in the future.
And
So that's enough.
I understand that that was made after you tasked me with going and speaking with the state as
That's
well.
correct. And we
So
have,
even though you said we're not interested, you still had me go ahead and run down
I
the
did,
path.
and we have contacted and talked with the state since then also.
And I'm assuming that she speaks on your all's behalf, because it is a
Well,
5-person commission.
It's fine. I decide what goes on the agenda and I'm not gonna put it on the agenda.
Okay.
So it's no for now. If anybody wants to chime in and try to convince me otherwise, go ahead.
I just thought we were in a place that we wanted to see, at least in writing, that the state would take the road back if we just decide we don't want it anymore. That was the one thing that I was anticipating to see.
Bruce, do you
And I
have that
brought that.
paper in front of you?
I reached out to Casey Smith just like you did and
I
followed
think
up.
we have that.
Right, right. That was where I thought it stood.
They did say that an official order has to be done. And if the city decides to withdraw from the process, written notice is required and another official order may be needed to return the road back to state conditions.
Yeah.
So,
And the
you know,
process is 2 to 3 years, I think I read.
yeah, and he said even after the order, it can take several years.
Yeah, the
for
way
the
that
process.
the state, once this city signs off and says it's our road, it becomes your road in 2 or 3 months. It takes them that long to deed it, go through all the powers that be,
Mhm.
et cetera. But it becomes yours right away. So this 3, 4, 5 year thing, no, it becomes yours. And this was something that, again, I keep beating this dead horse, but it was vetted through Main Street Winchester, through the design committee, was brought before you guys multiple times, has been 4+ years just getting to this point. And I think it's reactionary to say, and also Palmer Engineering, when they were up here presenting, that was one of the things they said before high side, it'd make it a lot easier if it was our road. Now, I understand the misplaced fears that it's gonna mess up the high side project. I get that. But why not go ahead and at least get all the ducks in a row? If you're gonna do it, if you're thinking about doing it in capacity, get to the point where we can sign off, if it's a concern of where we're gonna pay for it, or if it's a concern of how it actually happens, all those things, that can be ironed out now. And then as soon as it's done, we pull the trigger versus now we're gonna look at it and now we're basically starting the process all over.
And again, I'll say to you, Chad, I'm very apprehensive about taking the road over until the high side project is finished. We don't know what we're gonna find.
And I get that.
We have no clue. We may have dead bodies up there.
100% get that.
We don't know what's there.
So we're in agreement. It ain't
So-
gonna happen until then, but why not be able to, as soon as it's done,
Well, and that,
we
what
know
I
it's
said,
gonna- we're gonna take it over.
I think that's exactly what I said. Until the high side project is completed, we revisit the possibility in the future. So
I guess what I'm saying is, couldn't we write it as a contingency that as soon as it's done, we're gonna take it?
I don't think that's necessary. We're gonna do the right thing.
Well,
And you
beg
may
to differ,
disagree
Mayor,
with the
it's been
right
4
thing. That's
years
an,
Trying to get to this point.
that's an interpretation, and we've,
It's not interpretation. I've been up here.
that's what,
multiple
oh, we know that.
times.
We
Yeah.
know that.
And
I
you
think
have to
we've
get an
done,
answer other than,
I've
we'll look at
given
it
you,
then.
I've
We'll
given
pick
you
that
an
then.
answer. We will look at it after the completion
Okay.
of the high side project.
I'd love to hear from everybody else, because you're one voice of five.
I will make you this promise.
Oh, Shannon, be careful.
As soon as the high side project is completed, I will bring it up here and ask for a vote. The week after, or the meeting after, the Allen Company says they are done, which might be November, might be November of 2026. I will bring it up the next meeting after they say it's done.
And between now and then, get real comfortable about how, if you're gonna be, approving proceeding. Bringing it up's one thing, but if it's a direction this commission wants to head, we gotta go ahead and iron that out.
I will ask that we, if I have to, I'll ask in the comments section and say, we need to vote right now. And hopefully somebody will say, but if they don't, it wasn't gonna pass anyway.
And again, Chad, my reason's not to be hard-nosed. My reason is I want to see what's there. I don't want us to take on the responsibility of a roadway and stoplights and all those kind of things until we know what we're doing. And all we have now is what we think we know. We don't know what we don't know. And that's the only reason. I don't, the more I think about it, the more inclined I probably am to do it. But,
Hope
and,
so, hope
and,
so.
and that's the only reason. I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I'm
I'm
not,
not arguing.
I'm just telling you, you
It's
asked
a
for a
long road
definitive
to get
answer.
To this point on my part.
You've asked for a definitive answer and we'll bring, it. There'll be the right time, we'll bring it up. As soon as we get this project finished, we're gonna look.
I'm gonna back up because I was on Main Street with you.
Mhm.
Main Street Board was heavily in favor of doing this.
Right. And the design committee. that's
And
where
the
we were
design
at.
committee,
It
yeah,
was,
so-
guy.
So I'm speaking from that time, not commissioner now, and I know the downtown is very positive about wanting to happen. So, I think we will take a look at it as soon as it's done, we'll bring it back up and talk about it.
Well, I guess, and I hate to keep beating this, but now's the time to look at it. That way we can take action the moment it's done. That way we're not looking at it for another 3 or 4 or 5 years.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Well,
All
yeah,
I'm
but-
saying is bear with us. We are gonna address it. And you've asked me to have a definitive answer tonight, and the answer is I want to wait as long as everybody's okay with it until after the high side, so we know what we know, and then we can move forward. Period.
Anybody else?
Say what you have to.
If,
Commissioner
I just,
Cool.
I think everyone's interested, like you said, to see what's under the road. And if it's brick, I think that's a huge concern. And I suppose that if it's still a state road and we expose the brick and we have it, that mid-project, we can't make it a city street. To me, the most critical point right now is that if there's potential brick, so it's a potential situation. But what happens if we find a road of brick? I guess
That's a good question. I know several years ago on the corner of where Adams Building was, right there on that corner, there, WMU had a major issue right there. And they were down the hole when I was down here looking at it. And they came out with bricks that were the old fashioned bricks about like that and that thick. I have one I can bring to show everybody if they
Yeah,
don't see
there's
it.
brick.
And I think that's a very good point, because there may well be a certain section that we just don't know what's under there.
So, but then, and I have no idea, and this might be a Mr. Flynn question, I don't, not, maybe you would have to forgive me. But what happens if there is brick and we're in the middle of the project and we're like, we want to keep this brick, but it's a state road, like, what does that look like? I guess that's next, I think that's why there's a push right now, like this very second.
I think we could
Whatever's
plead
under
our-
there hadn't bothered anybody for all.
And I think we could plead our case with the state at that point.
Well, I think that that's a step in a direction of, we need to address if there's brick. I think that's.
And I
Well, if it's
think,
brick, you wanna keep it, I can pretty much guarantee that it would have to be a city road. There's
Right,
no
but
way.
so how,
I-
so if we
That'd be
see
a
it and it's
no-brainer.
exposed, how does that happen then? Can we
Now,
do that immediately,
I'm
like,
not
you
a
know?
traffic engineer, Brian may be able to answer this. I don't know if we could keep a brick street up there with the amount of traffic this gets.
Well, the trucks would be
well,
off.
let's wait and see if we have bricks before we spend an hour talking about.
But I do think that's what the
Yeah,
concern
I'd-
is
I'd love to
generally
all be.
for the
Yeah.
urgency.
That'd be great.
We would.
But I don't
We
know
would.
that with the amount of traffic on Main Street, if brick would hold up.
Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, there's just so many unknowns right now. And
I mean, there's-
that's my hesitation. I don't.
Well, I think it's a goal. I think it's just a slow process. I think it's gonna be
Thank you,
okay.
Joe.
I swear it's a slow process.
It's a-
I
it's
got
a-
no
It's
question about
it's a
that.
slow process, but I think it'll go.
Well, I won't bug y'all till after the high side's done, but I would encourage you heavily between now and whenever that is.
If we don't run into any
To
problems.
decide,
then
you know,
yeah.
That's
I
right,
got
to
you.
go ahead and decide what's
I
that
got
look like, are you in favor
I
or
got
not, cause
I
I'm
got
gonna
you.
aggravate you.
I really think if we took a poll right this minute, which I do not want to do, I think it'd be 5-0 right now.
Yeah.
So-
That's great. Good.
So just hold on.
Yeah.
Try not to
If I-
hyperventilate too much. And
Yeah.
If I vote in favor, that's good.
if you vote in favor,
No, I said 5-0 in favor. You said
5-0? Yeah. That's what I said it should probably be tonight. Now, if we go down there and like Commissioner Toole said and find beautiful brick that can be restored, and then we'll have another discussion. But I think we all see some validity in it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just chill out.
I do want to say one more
Hey,
thing.
I've been waiting a long time. I just did
Okay,
everything y'all
well, you
asked me.
can
I was
make this
expecting this to
longer,
move.
so you'll be
quicker,
okay.
so.
I'm not
Yeah.
a construction person, but I guess I'd be interested to know, the Allen Company and whomever is overseeing that project is most likely not gonna be standing on the street every day. It's gonna be hourly workers. So how, when we start to see things unfold, and if we do see brick, how do we I'm sorry, people are gonna hate you, Brian, like you know the key, but how can we make sure that the people who are actually out doing the work and actually on the street are actually involved in communicating, like, let's pause for a second, if that's really what we're talking about.
And Hannah, Jesse's gonna help us.
Right, I was gonna,
All they ask for.
When
yeah,
we have progress meetings, they'll know and they'll report back to us.
okay, I just wanna make sure that hourly employees aren't gonna just push through it.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're
Okay,
saying.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know that if there's brick under there with a century's worth of concrete and blacktop on top of it, that it could be salvaged.
Let's just hope there's some gold blocks down there.
They sell, they sell some gold.
Let's call on Jesse, see what he's.
Maybe we'll find someone's
Yeah.
fortune hidden under
Jesse.
there.
Okay.
Let's back to horse and buggies. It'll
Horse and
take care
buggy,
of that.
horse and buggy.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Chad.
In places mostly down through there, but over the years, repairs, a lot of things been dug out, we had to go through. All they do is pick it back up with full field or concrete, so there's spotting down through there, it will be hard to get it back. That would be your issue.
But it's not impossible.
Or to gather them for a crosswalk or
put
something.
some- Yeah, you know, reuse them
Use
and
them.
repurpose them.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
Okay, anyone else on the sign up list?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
Mr. Nolan, well, we'll get the comments in a minute, okay?
Mr. Noel.
Oh, that's Mr. Smith.
Yeah,
Mr.
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah. I got something, but in the.
Okay, all right, let's move on to, we're not having a closed session. Okay, comments from the mayor, commissioner, city manager, and city attorney. Let's start with Commissioner Toole. I'll start the other end. You're up.
I don't think I have anything tonight, Mayor. Thank you. I know. I know you built me up. Thank you, though.
Commissioner Combs.
Okay, we got an email the other day, I know Bruce did too, about the tree situation over around College Park and a contractor not doing apparently what KU told us they would do in here. So I'm going to make the request that we simply codify what KU said. We make that, we take the exact things that KU said that they would do and make that a city ordinance. And if a contractor working for KU does not do that, we would either pull their business license to work in the city, or we would fine them on a per day basis.
Mr. Dykeman, I think that's a Bill Dykeman question.
I'd have to see, I mean, I was there when KU presented, but we'd have to see the text of what exactly they said. I think it'd probably be ordained if that's what they're willing to do. There's probably a way to track in the ordinance to track the subcontractors that might be responsible as well. That could be part of it. So it's certainly theoretically possible. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Take a look at it.
I want to our next meeting to have an ordinance here and simply codify what KU's own representative said they would do and said they did. And that we just simply hold them to their word.
Well, let me look up what KU's rules are, and then we'll run it through Mr. Dykeman again, and then.
But the guy had
Bring
a
it back.
very nice PowerPoint he put up here. Let's just take his exact words and put them in the form of an ordinance.
Okay, we're gonna let Mr. Dykeman review it before we vote on anything. Not
Well,
gonna get any of us in trouble here.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dykeman, is that okay?
Yes, Mayor, that sounds good.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Okay, Commissioner Strode?
Yeah, I would just like to reiterate, to the public, we're starting on the construction of the high side. I would like for you to be patient, but I would like for you to please visit our businesses in this block of Main. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. It's gonna be through traffic. Parking committee's working very diligently on freeing up a bunch of parking. We've been able to do that. So please don't just say, I'm not going downtown, it's gonna be too big of a mess. You know, you wanna go to Chad's, you wanna go to a High Side Boutique, you wanna go to Court Street, you wanna go everywhere. Might have to walk a little bit farther, but there are gonna be plenty of parking places. A couple of the churches have stepped up. Brad Souden's even given 6 places in the back of the IDA office. Taking the signs off Broadway, you'll have places to park there on Broadway. So just be patient, but please support downtown. And Pat, thank you for considering always what you're doing about what's best for downtown, and I do
I will
appreciate
direct
that.
Mayor, Mr. Strode.
I do
It's
appreciate
Jill's,
it.
not Chaz.
I do. But it's good for, I mean, you know, we need to hear what the downtown wants, and as I said, Main Street wanted this a long time ago. So it's something we definitely need to consider.
And we will. Commissioner Chanel?
I did, Mayor, but I believe I left it in my other notes, so no, I don't have anything.
Okay, we'll hold those thoughts for next
I
meeting.
will.
All right. City manager?
Yes, Mayor. I want to give kudos out to Chief Thompson and the police department for all the snacks they raised for the kids on spring break this week. That was a lot. And as you know, when kids go home, sometimes they don't have a nutritious meal. So thank you, Chief Thompson, for all of that. I also want to echo Commissioner Strode's support for our downtown businesses while the High Side project's going on. I think that's going to be vital that we get the word out there, that we say that businesses are still open. We will be having parking maps to help guide people where to park, and we've worked really hard on trying to get that so that people can still come downtown. We've worked on the Winchester Community Investment Fund. So as you know, we had a presentation, Alicia presented on that for nonprofits to get some grant funds. They've always been able to do that, but they wrote a letter in years past. This time it's an electronic form that is now posted on our website. It is live. So if anybody's paying attention, they can go on and access that form, fill it out. The deadline is April 18th. And then Thursday and Friday, we're getting new carpet in the commission chamber. So you'll see that too. So we're still working on the commission chambers a little bit at a time. That's all I have.
Okay. And the only thing I have is, I want to kind of reiterate what Commissioner Strode said, High Side Project. I sat in on the meeting the other day. The week of April 7th, I think they've actually started this week, putting up signing and letting people kind of get used to what it's going to look like. The week of April 14th, demolition actually begins. So we might be finding those bricks sooner than later, Chad. So that's all I have. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Motion by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second? Everybody wants to stay? Okay.
She said second.
Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Go home and have a good evening.